screen is yours.
Very much, Ibu Aulia. Let me first recognize the presence of Bapak Agus Haryono, representing His Excellency Minister Dr. Laksana Trihandoko from the National Research and Innovations Agency, His Excellency Bapak Muhammad Hasan, Ambassadors of Pakistan to Indonesia, and also Professor Dr. Iqbal Chowdhury, Coordinator General of the OIC ComStack. Distinguished panelists, scholars, and participants, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace be upon us. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. First of all, let me say how pleased I am to see so many of you gathered here for this international webinar. Among us, there are high-level scientists, academicians, and government officials who are in charge of making policy recommendations. I'm convinced that the presence of all of you, which I'm very pleased to learn several coming from Africa, Asia, and then also Southeast Asia. I believe that the presence of you all will contribute to a fruitful discussions in this webinar. Please allow me also to congratulate His Excellency Dr. Laksana Trihandoko on his recent appointment as the Ministers of National Research and Innovations Agency, or BRIN. We wish you every success in leading a concerted effort to promote incubator for research and innovations in Indonesia. I would like to commend the Indonesian Institute of Science, LIPI, and the Organizations of Islamic Cooperation Standing Committee on Scientific and Technological Cooperations, or ComStack, for co-organizing this conference. The theme of today's discussion, tropical medicines and natural products, is very timely in the wake of this challenging pandemic time. So the scientists can share their base knowledge on the potential herbal or natural product that can be used to boost health and immunity for preventions of COVID-19 and also for other tropical diseases, and to find natural-based medicines or drugs for curative purposes. Distinguished panelists and participants, ladies and gentlemen, tropical medicines and natural medications method are often receive less attention in the race of commercializations. Yet, in the last few decades, we have seen the movement in reverse. There is growing interest now on back to the nature style of living. Nowadays, people wish to be closer to nature and stay away from artificiality. Companies that produce natural products have typically catered on baby boomers. Yet, new customers categories are emerging, youth and millennial, who like attributes such as local, sustainable, green, safe, and additive-free. Millennials are also willing to try new things. Unlike baby boomers, they do not shy away from prescriptions pharmaceuticals, and they have no trouble mixing natural products with pharma, according to a study by some top institutes. What transpired from this trend, I believe that the natural consumers are evolving, thus present huge opportunity for relevant industries to reap this benefit. Indonesia is blessed with vast and rich biodiversity. Geographical locations and the tropical climates have contributed to produce mega biodiversity. The high level of endemicity gives medicinal plants uniqueness in Indonesia. All aspects of life in our archipelago support the mega biodiversity of the country. Traditional communities throughout Indonesia have also contributed in identifications of medicinal plants. Through their daily activities, they assist us in preserving the knowledge of traditional herbal medicines, or we call it jamu, or phytochemical. French botanist Bontius in the early 17th centuries first noted this, and he made compilations of Java medicinal plants. Today, jamu is very popular food supplements in Indonesia and is being developed into a rational therapy. According to World Health Organization, about 2/5 of Indonesians' populations uses jamu to maintain good health and to treat disease. Traditional community helps us also to know plant and biodiversity that have economic value from their local trading and transactions. Their economic value is so huge. One study estimated that the global trade for medicinal plants was more than $3 billion in 2005, and it is projected to grow to be worth of $5 trillion by 2050. Distinguished scholars and participants, ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia certainly is not the only country that develops traditional knowledge for nature-based medicinal. Many countries around the world, especially tropical countries, are blessed with vast biodiversity and medicinal plants. Their respective traditional community also use these medicinal plants as traditional remedies. Traditional medicines, particularly Tipu Unani or homeopathy, I hope I don't, I pronounce it correctly, for instance, have long been a part of Pakistani culture heritage. They have played an important role in providing health care to large portions of Pakistani populations. And I believe scholars from different countries who are participating in these seminars also can share their knowledge, best practices in this regard. In light of the above background, I would like to offer some observation. First, individual country needs to build inventory on its species richness of biodiversity. This inventory will serve as a roadmap that help government to design appropriate conservation program, either in situ or ex situ conservations. To this end, we can identify conservation's priority, either species based on commercial demand or with the view to protect against over-harvesting. The ideal approach certainly mixing them in such a balanced manner. Second, involving traditional community is a key for successful conservation program. They have the knowledge of species potentials benefit for healthcare. Local wisdom teach people to nurture plants and herbals they know would bring benefit for maintaining health and to treat disease. People will be encouraged to participate in the conservation should they are well informed about the potential economic benefit from conservation program for them. Yet, the buck does not stop here. Traditional knowledge of local community must be respected. It is important, therefore, for developing countries to document these local wisdoms and protect them in forms of regulations of genetic resources, traditional knowledge, and expressions of folklore. Third, use local knowledge to go global. Since such knowledge have a high economic potential for developing countries, therefore they must be protected in a new IPR system. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, participants, we recognize that comparing scientific and traditional knowledge as equals maybe pose a challenge, or even some may say they are not suitable. The former based on academic and literal transmissions, while the latter preserves through verbal communications. The applications of traditional knowledge into scientific method and processes means, however, that these two types of knowledge will come into contact. Consequently, we need to continuously explore a balance between the applications of standard IPR to traditional knowledge. Until such time is right for the adoptions of international legally binding instrument, the most plausible actions probably to leave the matters in the hand of individual countries to put safeguard through national legislations. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, finally, I should also like to mention this initiative as part of the science diplomacy, which is now gaining traction and becoming more relevant today. Corona pandemic has taught many countries around the world to give priority to scientific research in order to build national resilience for their respective pharmaceutical industry. COMSTECH can play an important role in promoting cooperations and coordinations among the OIC's members countries. COMSTEC could facilitate exchange of knowledge and best practices on science and technology that could contribute to developments of new drugs and medicines. COMSTEC also could serve as incubator for innovations by showcasing new innovations to potential investors for monetizing the scientific research of outcomes. Both Indonesia, Malaysia, Pakistan, and other countries who are participating in this web seminar have the potentials as well, and the expertise. Therefore, we must enhance the level of our cooperations and the capacity building in the area of scientific explorations and innovations. Besides, it would be more beneficial for all of us if COMSTEC could involve business organizations in research for multi-needed financial support. I look forward to hearing productive sessions on the theme and the discussions, and I'm very optimistic that funding of this webinar will open new ways for mutual collaborations that lead to tangible result. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you.